everyone. Welcome to another edition of Take 10. It's a podcast where we aim at 10 to 20 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes podcast. Getting behind the LinkedIn profile, if you like, getting to know the people in our sector a little bit better. The theory being, if you feel you know them better, you're more inclined to make contact, and that will oil the wheels of business as such. Today we're welcoming Trine Oestergaard Stafford. So welcome, Trine. And if you could just introduce yourself briefly.
Hi, Richard. Thank you very much for inviting me on your podcast. We've obviously known each other for a very long time now. So it's great to get out and speak to your audience. My name is Trine Oestergaard Stafford. It's always a mouthful and it's always a big topic of how to pronounce my name, but there you go. I have been at House of Fisher for now about 10 years. We are one of the largest, we probably are the largest owner operator of service departments in the Thames Valley. We cover places like Reading, Bracknell, Newbury, all of the south. We are also one of the only companies to have won the SME award with ASAP twice, which I thought to just highlight. Prior to that, I've been with House of Fisher for about 10 years. I have a background in hotels. I've been in the industry for almost 30 years. Maybe that tells you my age.
Yeah, that's interesting.
There you go. And I have been on the board for ASAP now for 2.5 years, which has been great. Also actively participating in organising the yearly conference, where the tickets just went on sale today.
Okay, that's a good one. So it's now the 1st of April, and dear viewers, that wasn't an April Fool's. They are really going on sale. So I'm only doing the date so that people then have that reference to when the date when they're going on sale. So grab your ticket. Great event every year. Yeah, no, thank you for that, Trine. We'll hear more about House of Fisher afterwards. First of all, the interrogation bit where we throw some tricky old questions at you, and see how you go. Now, you're Danish or originally from Denmark, I have to ask this one: ice cream or frozen yogurt?
Probably ice cream.
I always relate Denmark, certainly Copenhagen, to ice cream. It was the best ice cream I've ever had in my entire life. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw it.
I think frozen yogurt is very American. So I think most of us that grew up in mainland Europe will probably fancy ice cream.
And I think frozen yogurt's become a bit trendy. There's like these frozen yogurt places seemingly all over the place. But yeah, those massive waffles with lots of cream and ice cream on them. I always relate to Copenhagen, actually. So yeah. Being a driver or a passenger in a car, driver or passenger, what would you prefer?
I think it depends on the distance. I drive to the Thames Valley most days, so I prefer probably to drive. But if you're going long distance, it's quite nice to sit and not have to concentrate, I guess.
Right. Yeah, I prefer to drive as well. Depends if you're in the passenger seat. Depends who's driving, doesn't it? Of course. But I'm always nervous. Not that I'm a great driver at all, but I'm just in. I prefer, if I'm not driving, I think I prefer to be in the back seat or preferably in the boot, because I'm constantly making comments otherwise. But here's a fun fact about
we also, Richard, we're car twins, with our Q2, so we have a very lovely car to drive.
Yeah, we are. We're lucky, aren't we, in that respect? Yeah. It was going to be one of my questions, but then I'd say it was like, do you prefer to Q or Q2? But yeah, exactly. No, it is. We are lucky, aren't we, in that respect? It's a great car. Love it. Yeah, no, but I did a little bit of research into Denmark beforehand, and here's a fun fact: 50% of people in Copenhagen cycle to work. So I'm these bike lanes are always driving me mad, and when the bikes aren't in the bike lane, they drive me even madder. But so I don't know how I'd survive in Copenhagen, but it's great.
But I think, yes, but I think Denmark, we grew up with it. We have the infrastructure. Here in lockdown, they started putting in these ridiculous bike lanes here, which are just,
Yeah,
a recipe for
drive you mad.
disaster. But in Denmark, we have it part of our road system, so it's a completely different setup.
Yeah, yeah. Well, exactly. And another fun fact, actually, I didn't realize it would tie into this one. Apparently, there are no mountains in Denmark. I don't know. That'd probably get you thinking, but no
No,
mountains.
we have this one mountain, which
Oh,
is really just a large hill, which is called Himmelbjerget, which is the mountain of the sky. And
oh,
don't know why it
okay.
has the name like that, but it is a giant hill.
Reminds me of my wife when she came over, German, when she came over here, and I was talking about mountains, and she was similar. It was going, "Do you call that a mountain? It's like just a big hill." Yeah. Um, potted plant, or bouquet of flowers. What do you
Potted
prefer to
plants.
receive? Yeah.
I love potted
Is there a reason
plants.
for that?
Well, I love gardening actually. So of course
Ah,
I also like flowers. I just like flowers. So if you give them to
yeah.
me as a bouquet, that's great. But I also I like to put things out in the garden.
Yeah, exactly. And they're alive, aren't they, still? So, whereas flowers are kind of like start falling all over the place. Um, Disney World or Legoland? That's a bit of a loaded question. Be careful there.
I mean, Legoland probably isn't for my age group. I used to obviously go there as a child in the original one in Billund. Um,
Mm,
I probably would go to Disney if I had to, because the rides are a little bit more grown up. But
right, fair
I
enough.
I probably
Yeah.
wouldn't go
Nah,
to either right now, just because of the queuing and things like that.
yeah, well, that's a good point, isn't it? Yeah, it does. That is pretty dreadful. I think can you get fast tracks? You can in
Oh,
Disney.
possibly, yeah. You
Yeah,
probably
but it's
can.
still, it's just, yeah, no, I do agree, and yeah, like you say, so Legoland, Denmark, Billund. Forgive me for not pronouncing it properly there.
Pretty good.
Being the home of Lego, and one where I think it must have been the '60s, late '60s, early '70s, when my brother went to work, and he was working, I don't know if I hesitate there because I don't know if you're allowed to say this kind of thing. Probably not anymore. But they had like an Indian, a
Like a
big wigwam. Don't know what they're
TP
called.
thing.
Yeah,
Mm,
TV. Yeah, and he was working in there, but that would be politically not allowed anymore, and
no.
rightly so. Um, but yeah, fun facts about amusement parks here. Then we go. The world's two oldest amusement parks are in Denmark.
Tivoli
Not,
Gardens.
and then one that I've never heard of called Bakken. Is it
Oh,
Bakken?
Bakken. Yes, it's north of
Yeah,
Copenhagen.
yeah. So yeah, I've been to Tivoli. I've not been to the other one though. And yeah, um, time machine or magic wand?
Magic wand.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'd probably be the same as well because I guess in theory, magic wand you can magic yourself backwards anyway, so you don't need you. You've kind of like you know
Yeah,
the
probably, or
type.
get the person back, or whatever it might be. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I think I'd go for the magic wand one as well. Are you an early morning person or late evening? Do you tend to work in the mornings or the evenings?
I do both actually. I think it really depends.
You could use that
It
magic
really depends.
wand
If I have to
to
get up, I get up.
yeah, yeah, right. Oh, I find it difficult getting up. I tend to work late at night, and that's it. Yeah. Before we go onto a little bit more about House of Fish, I thought I'd really like to run through some of these fun facts. They're not questions, but they're just kind of like facts. Um, apparently Denmark, one of the happiest countries in the world. I think Denmark was voted second after Finland this year. So
Which I find very
you
strange.
know,
But anyway, Denmark has won that actually many times over.
really. yeah.
Mm.
And strange, so happy when apparently, correct me if I'm wrong, there is no word for please in Danish.
Yes, you have to say it almost like a sentence instead. There
Yeah,
is,
like
there
the
is.
way.
Yeah,
Sorry,
you
go
don't
ahead.
say it as a one word, or like in a. You have to put it into a whole sentence.
I can imagine how that might be, really, because like when you think back to Shakespearean time, those kind of things. It's just a nicer way of phrasing a sentence, I guess, which is more polite. And yeah, no, I can imagine that.
Mm.
That's one of those problems, isn't it, with languages, because then the typical British response is the impolite kind of thing, but it's not meant. It's not meant like that. There's just
Mm.
no,
Mm.
you just not no word for please. Language-wise as well,
But I do
the
think
Danish
English.
pastry. Go
I think
ahead.
the English language though is more polite because you say thank you and please a lot more than we
Mm,
would in just our language. So I do think that the British, they are
yeah,
more polite when they
I
speak.
guess, and I guess the argument goes, doesn't it, a little bit over the top. We tread on someone's toes and say sorry. It's kind of like with it.
Sure.
It's just crazy over the top. Sorry, the other way around. They tread on your toe and you say sorry. That's what I meant to say. It's kind of like just to a crazy level. Um, kind of probably okay in society, but yeah. Um, The Copenhagen harbour is apparently clean enough that you can swim in it. I don't know if you've ever tried that. Have you ever tried that? Swimming in? Have
No,
you?
so I'm actually not from Copenhagen. I'm from Aarhus, which is on the mainland.
Right,
But Copenhagen, loads of people swim in the harbor. Absolutely.
right. Is that the second biggest city then in
Yeah,
Denmark?
Aarhus is.
Aarhus.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty big, isn't it? Yeah, never been there, but I know it, of course. And last fun fact: the oldest national flag in the world is of Denmark, apparently. So
yeah.
there you
Then
go.
all. Mhm.
Yeah, no. So thank you for enduring those
Well, Richard,
questions.
I'm glad you didn't ask me any Greenland questions
Oh, good
because I
grief,
thought you
no.
might bring that up because that's
Oh,
obviously a
no.
very hot topic at the minute, and one
It,
that gets most of us Danes very angry.
yeah. There was a rather yeah, yeah, exactly, on the news at the weekend, wasn't it? Not, or was it last week? Yeah, not great. And I think there was a response, wasn't there, from the Danish Prime Minister or President, whatever.
There's been
Yeah.
foreign minister from the king.
Oh,
I think it's just a huge political
yeah,
circus.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sadly, I think the world's just peppered with those. I mean, I understand why it's close to your heart, and then there are so many things in the world right now, aren't there? That's just moving around. Oh dear, yeah,
Mm.
no, yeah, no. I'm sure you're pleased I didn't ask you that one.
Yeah.
um, so yeah, no, please tell us a little bit more about House of Fisher, if you would, though. Where you are. I've always known the brand to be one of the first established brands in the UK, very very early on when I first came into the sector. Actually, I'm sure you existed, and yeah, please tell us
Well, I
all
think we
about House of
are.
Fisher.
I think we are probably one of the oldest operators in the country. I think we're about 27 years. I think this year is 28 years of age, and it was established back in the day where our parent company was a builder, had leftover inventory that it wasn't selling, and then it was rented out, and that's kind of how it started. And then we got some corporate agreements set in place, but then obviously the company has built in size over the time, and we I think are one of the longest members of ASAP. Even I think we're sort of 10 years plus. Same with ISAP, and we've been around quite a long time. Probably the difference between us and many of our other colleagues in the industry is that we own all of our buildings. We do lease a few, but most of the buildings are owned by a parent company, built by a parent company, and are in centralized buildings. So we operate the entire building, parking, the facilities, everything like that. And quite a few of the buildings have a gym underneath that we also own, but it's obviously leased out to an operator. And And yes, so the company, we operate only in the Thames Valley. So anything from, Reading down, so through Berkshire, some of Hampshire and Surrey. And so we feel we cover quite a large range of the Thames Valley for people that are flexible or need to be in different locations. So we are kind of a one-stop shop, and we can offer locations.
Yeah, exactly. I always think of you as like the M4 and M3 corridors. Is it more M4 then?
We call it both M4 and M3 sort of corridors. Probably Bracknell is towards the M3, your Farnborough, Camberley. Which is great.
Yeah.
All of our sites have parking, so it works well for any contractor in the area or any corporates visiting the local area.
Yeah, and lots of both, aren't there, in those areas? That's for sure. You mentioned ASAP and ISAP, so you've been a member of ASAP for a long time. Do you want to mention what ASAP is and etc.? Because I don't think anybody's done that on a take.
ASAP is the Association of Service Apartment Providers, and it's an organization that provides a support network, guidance, advice, a collaboration between partners and agents, suppliers even, it's just a really, we have an internal directory or external directory of all the providers. The agents can work with us there as well, and it offers sort of advice on regulation. It works for us as providers and anyone in the industry. For example, now the new rental bill is coming out, and there's advice around that if anyone has worries. Or in the past, we've also worked on the regulations around the unregulated market, which we kind of want to control a bit better, and also for our clients. So it gives you that support function, really. And you can
exactly, and they work very hard, don't they, to kind of knit the sector together or hold the sector together, just to have a kind of like a central reference point, newsletters and what have you. So no, it's great, very hard working team there as well. So,
and it's pushing the international now. So there's been quite a few events both in Edinburgh. There's been in Dublin. There will be some in Spain and Portugal and France and so on. So it's really becoming a global association where we can come together as providers or suppliers, agents, everyone really in the sector, and support each other.
Exactly, and there is a degree of collaboration as there with CHIPA, with the Corporate Housing Providers Association in the States.
There's quite a few, and I'm sure if we start the discussion on regulations again with the new government, I'm sure more collabs will happen between the different kind of accommodation associations across the country.
Yeah, exactly. And you mentioned ISAP as well, then. So that's a big feather in the cap of House of Fisher, really, that you can differentiate, your own operation from perhaps other operators that aren't ISAP accredited. So would you like to kind of talk a little bit
so the
about
ISAP
that?
accreditation gives you that extra kind of accreditation. It shows you have you are compliant, you follow health and safety, you are insured, you are vetted, people have checked your procedures, checked your health and safety records, and they push you to do your best and to make sure you have everything in place. We've done it, we do it every year, and it's tough work, but it's great to have, and it's great that you have vetted your procedures and your buildings and everything is in order. And also a massive selling point to your corporates and to RFPs and things like that you have an accreditation, that you've been vetted, that you have everything in place. And And I
100%.
think it's something that big companies are looking for. They're looking for these health and safety compliances, especially because we have such a rise in the unregulated market.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm told that the travel managers with whom we work, that there is guidelines under, don't know, don't ask me what it stands for, ISO, but I should know. The ISO 31030 is going to be travel risk management guidelines for those, especially in the TMCs, to guide as to how our clients in the TMCs, the RMCs, will select accommodation, and the accreditation, in this case ISAP accreditation, is absolutely aligned with 31030. So hopefully it will all knit together to maintain a kind of the professionalism and the standards within the corporate service department sector. So no, it's great and it's great that you have that recognition, and just for any viewers out there, really, it's not an exercise in passing an exam. So ISAP would come and would assist in anything that's maybe not up to a certain standard that they consider, and show you how to achieve those standards. So it's a not an exam as such, it's one where there is a large degree of help in achieving those standards.
Yes.
Yeah, no. Thank you for that, Trina. Thank you. So could you I must let you go because I must be respectful of your time. But may I ask one final question, perhaps? Could you recap on the locations? Because I have this blanket kind of thought of you M3, M4 corridor. But so it's Reading. You don't go as far as Swindon, do you?
Yeah, so we're across 6 locations. So we have Reading, Bracknell, Camberley, Farnborough, Newbury, and Basingstoke.
Right. Okay, I guess I understand. Yeah, fabulous. Any thoughts on moving into London, into going east?
So it's something we've debated many times, and I think I don't think it's quite us. I think we would like to keep. We have a fantastic operations team. We have a great guest services team, and we keep that. That's all located in Reading, and we work out from that hub. And it would not make sense really to go further away from that at the minute. So I think the Thames Valley is where we are for the time being.
And I think it's great. Personally, just my personal opinion, but I think it's great that you kind of stick to that one area, in all honesty, because you're identified with that area then as well, and it becomes a part of your brand. And actually, just thinking about the brand, I didn't mean it to be a lead into talking about the brand, but I'm very pleased that you've not introduced the goldfish Joey into this whole thing. I literally, so Joe, you used to
Jose. Our fish is Jose.
Oh, Jose, is that what it? Oh, sorry. Now then, Jose. So
he was named many moons ago when we introduced the fish, and then it became the fish became quite a big part of our brand, and then he was named Jose, and we carried on with it.
I literally thought it was a person. I would send emails to you to what eventually became apparent was a goldfish. So yeah, okay.
He does have an email, and he does answer you.
Oh, does he? Oh, right. Okay. Nah, thank you very much, Trina, for your time and coming on Take 10, and and for the insights into your brand and a little bit into Denmark and the culture there, and we'll catch up soon.
I'll leave you one last sentence, Richard, for you to learn.
Yeah. Go on.
And it's rødgrød med fløde. Bye-bye.
What does that mean? It's farewell or something?
No, it's a dessert, but no one can say it.
Yeah, I'm not going to. Tell me what muesli. You've started me off now. I know that my brother used to come back he lived in Billund for quite a long time. He lived in Copenhagen for quite a long time, but he used to come back and talk about Now then, this might be totally wrong, but frugru or something like muesli. How do you say muesli? Because we didn't have muesli in the UK at the time. Like Alpen hadn't
I know,
launched. How,
I know there's a brand, but you know what? I can't remember it. I can't.
oh, I see. So the homemade one though. How would you say muesli in Danish? Or is it muesli?
I'm
No,
not sure.
maybe it was a brand. Yeah, maybe it was a
They
brand.
used to have
Yeah,
these fry thingies they put on.
yeah,
That was probably the first, but I can't
yeah.
remember what it's called.
I mean, to demonstrate, to illustrate how crazy, not crazy, but to the difference with the UK and Europe at the time, and like it was like going to the moon, going outside of the UK. Um, it was we didn't even have duvets back then. And when he came back and he was going, well, they've got so-called continental quilts over in Denmark, and wow, and a blanket, surely, no,
But
So yeah,
back then it was cold. You know, it was very cold. But I was told this year Denmark had 20 less frost days this winter. And that just shows you what climate change is doing.
oh, that's a point as well, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. You won't be able to swim in the. You can go ice skating on the harbour in Copenhagen now, but not swim probably. Just like no. But yeah, oh, and it's cold, isn't it? There, let's face it. When the wind is blowing off the sea, it is cold. Don't even remind me. All right, no. Well, go on. Hit me with that one again. What's that pronunciation? What's that Danish phrase again?
Rød grød med fløde.
Nah, forget it. I can't even do it. I won't even do the first bit. No, I'm giving up. All right. Okay. Thanks a lot, Trine. I'll see you shortly.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you.
Bye.